You are listening to Larry Conners, USA.
You want answers?
I think I'm entitled.
You want answers?
I want the truth!
You can't handle the truth!
This is Larry Conners USA. Larry Conners USA.
Part of public health is understanding where people are and meeting them there. I think we can tell people, here are all these activities that once were high risk. Get vaccinated, they are now lower risk. But once you get vaccinated, go and do things. We encourage you to do things like travel. We want you to do it safely, but please go see your friends and family. I think that kind of message will have a lot more resonance than, here are all the things you can't do, even if you're fully vaccinated.
Is that not some common sense? This is April 28, 2021. That's Dr. Leana Wen, CNN analyst, and she was talking about CDC guidelines before they were released yesterday. She was appearing 2 nights ago in Anderson Cooper, and she was saying then at that time, we need to move forward. We need to begin to break out of this restrictive cocoon we're in. We're not all going to live as bubble children going forward. It's just not going to work. And yet we have some in the mainstream media, state-controlled media, let me correct myself, that are trying to tell you, no, you can't go without the mask. I want you to hear from Joy Reid in the next hour. Joy Reid, of course, has her own program, The Readout, and she's making a big deal that she's in a park and she's jogging with 2 masks on. And she's looking at people that are walking around without any mask. There is an automatic judgment nowadays if you have a mask or you don't have one. If you have a mask and you're with like people that have a mask, you're okay. Unless you only have one, now maybe you need 2. If you are outside, moving around, and you don't wear a mask, folks with a mask see you and they look at you as a degenerate and incapable of even breathing properly, as if they could breathe better with their mask than you. We are at that point where folks are being challenged because of the decision they made. Yesterday, as I said, the CDC, while we were on the air, was still processing and releasing new information about what they were going to be saying about the mask. Well, today, White House Chief Medical Advisor, Dr. Anthony Fauci, decided to describe the new mask guidelines a little bit more in detail. He was asked by the host on NBC, very simple question. When are kids going to be able to play outside with masks? You remember the woman we ran the other day? She was speaking to the Gwinnett County Board of Education, Georgia, and saying, quit telling 2- and 3-year-olds to wear a mask and my 6-year-old to wear a mask. Let them be kids. So this host for NBC was asking Dr. Fauci, when can kids go play without mask? And here he came. Everything's going to be caution, caution, caution. He cautioned that since children are unvaccinated and out in the community, quote, they are more at risk of getting infected. That is contrary to everything the CDC has been telling us. Children are less likely to get infected. He said high school kids will probably be getting vaccinated as we start the fall term. Children of any age likely vaccinated by the end of the year. I'm looking. The question was, when can they go without? When can they go without mask? And I'm looking, and I don't see an answer. Because in the bottom, he says, you're asking now if your child is a member of your household, can you walk outdoors with your child without a mask? According to that chart, the answer is yes. And the anchor said, but the child can't? Not beat it to death? Fauci responded, yes. Because the children are gullible and they're going to follow and be told what they're going to do and they're going to try to stick to it. We're going to get in that in much more detail as we move forward. We got a couple major subjects we need to look at. First of all, I told you yesterday there's evidence supposedly that the China Wuhan lab was working with the military And again, the question is, will they develop a biological weapon with this virus that's been released? Gordon G. Chain, expert on China, will be joining us for the latest on that. Also, 500 professors across our nation at universities, they might be actually working for the communists while they're here. One of them is a Southern Illinois University Carbondale professor. And then also, I have later in the next 2 hours before we wrap up, John Davidson from The Federalist with an excellent piece on how drug cartels are recruiting teenagers to help them smuggle drugs and humans across the border. A lot to come in the next 2 hours. Lock and load. Ready on the right.
You can email Larry at LarryConnersUSA@gmail.com. LarryConnersUSA@gmail.com.